Morning to another episode of This Week in Pro Football, Sunday version. We pick them and heading into week 11. Got some big time matchups this week, Fidel. You and I discussed before the show started. We've got some situations where some lines are going to be drawn in the sand for some of these teams. The Chiefs have a must win situation today. I think they need that game more than the Denver Broncos needs it. Chiefs lose today. That says a lot about their division. They fall. Well, that would be roughly 2.5 games, I believe, behind Denver. You don't want to start losing the what is it? The when it comes down to the end of the season, you start talking about tiebreakers and everything and
Yeah,
point differentials. You don't want to do that. This is also a time of the year where teams want to start scoring more points, I believe, also because point differentials matter. It's not about running up the score necessarily on opponents, but when it comes down to tiebreakers and divisional records and outer divisional records, when teams are tied, that's when those point differentials start to come in. So um, I say all that to say this. We want to get into this real quick and break these games down for everybody before Sunday starts or really gets underway. So right now we got the Washington Commanders and the Miami Dolphins across the water right now. Would you happen to have the score on that game?
I do. 13-6. Commanders are up right now.
What is it about going across the water, man? Why can't we ever get a 38-34 game over there or something? It's like everybody goes
Well,
over there and everybody is just everybody's drawn back.
these two particular teams, obviously Marcus Mariota starting
Yeah.
in place of Jaden Daniels, so the offense is going to look a little bit different with him on the field. And then with Miami, I mean, we kind of know the situation. Tua is still there at quarterback. Actually, I did see a report earlier today that Tua Tagovailoa is probably going to be back with the Dolphins with Mike McDaniel.
Mm,
So it looks like he's not going to get let go.
that's something
Which
interesting to talk about Wednesday night, man.
Well, and I have a theory on why that
Hmm.
is, but we can talk about that next week.
Yeah. All right. So picking that game, I took the Miami Dolphins. I'm not sure. Did you also take Miami Dolphins? I didn't get a chance to see your picks. I did take the Miami Dolphins for a few reasons. I saw what my Detroit Lions did to them offensively on the ground last week, as well as through the air. Now the Dolphins aren't nearly explosive offensively as a team as the Detroit Lions are. But Chan for the Miami Dolphins, he's been a really good player the last couple of years for them. He's been gashing some teams as of late. Washington really struggles against the run as well as the pass. Miami, if nothing else, they've shown a dedication to getting Chan the ball, whether it be tosses, screens out of the backfield, between the tackles as well. He's proven to be a better back coming into the league than what a lot of people gave him credit for coming out of Texas A&M. And the Dolphins, as bad as they've been this season, they've beaten some teams. They handed the Buffalo Bills another loss that no one expected the Buffalo Bills to be taken. So, who did you have in this matchup?
I had the Commanders, uh, the Bills. I know that the Dolphins beat the Bills last week, but I mean, I don't know, man. It's hard to pick the Dolphins in any games this season, as you know. So I took the Commanders.
All right. I mean, that's a game I'm pretty sure nobody really gives too many damns about, unless you're a person who's either a fan of either one of those teams or you're a serious high level gambler. It
And
I don't
and
know
I
how
actually
many.
I do have
Yep.
an update. So Marcus Mariota was injured, and veteran Josh Johnson had entered the game. So we'll see if Marcus Mariota is able to come back.
Okay, big time Josh Johnson. That's interesting. And as throughout the show goes throughout, we will keep you guys updated on that game. All right, so moving on next, we got Packers at Giants. If you look at the spread on that game right now, the consensus is Green Bay -7.5. We know what Green Bay is coming off of. That was a pretty heartbreaking loss, I think, for that team, that organization, as well as that franchise, losing 10-7 to the Philadelphia Eagles. That was a measuring stick game for that team as well. They failed it. Green Bay's been pretty Jekyll and Hyde this season. Either they score a bunch of points or they score no points and they lose to teams that have no business honestly losing to. They played down to Arizona as well. I got the Packers in this game. I think they bounce back. The Giants defense has been very underwhelming this season. They haven't been able to get at quarterback as well as they thought would. have been able to stop the run as well as they thought they would. They've been bad as well in the secondary. So I think this is a get right game for Green Bay.
Yeah, and then if you look at the Giants, a lot of changes this week. Obviously, Brian Daboll fired. Jameis Winston is going to be the starting quarterback today for the Giants. Yeah, I like the Packers coming off a bad loss on Monday night against the Eagles, a game that they had their opportunities to score some points, weren't able to. Yeah, I think it's a get back game for the Packers.
All right, so quick question about it though. Fix this light on this camera. Quick question about that because there's always the chance we've seen enough head coaches get fired throughout, our years of watching football. Is there any chance the Giants are stricken with a whole lot of momentum? Dayball being gone, you never know how players feel about a head coach until that head coach is fired or whatnot. Could they rally around Kafka and maybe potentially catch this team by surprise? Because we know one thing for sure, two things for certain. Jameis is going to push the ball down the field. Jameis is going to take some chances. Jameis is going to at least get the Giants scoring. So the Packers haven't proven to be a team that's good at all as far as in regards to playing from behind. So I just thought I'd throw it because sometimes you do have a case of a head coach getting fired. The team in the locker room rallies around the interim head coach and they catch somebody by surprise. You think there's any chance that happens today?
No,
Yeah.
not this game.
Come on, man. We got to give these people of
We
all
got to give
teams
him
that could
something,
lay an egg.
but let's be honest here. If Jackson Dart was playing, I would say yeah, but he's not. It's Jameis Winston, and it's either we're going to see a really good Jameis or a really bad Jameis. Nothing in between, typically. So, I mean, not in this particular matchup. I think the Giants are home, um, but the Packers got to win some games, man. I mean, we kind of talked about Matt LaFleur. He might be on the hot seat, man, if this thing doesn't work out and they make it to the playoffs and at least win one game because expectations were sky high week one after the Micah Parsons trade and all that. So they got to win this game.
All right, let's move it on. Everybody got that. Bucks at Bills. Right now the number is -6 Buffalo. Not sure how I feel about that. I got Tampa winning that. If I'm not sure, did I have Tampa? Make sure. Yep, I did. Go through so many games, college and NFL, got to make sure. But had Tampa winning this game. When I look at Tampa, I got a better gauge on who Tampa is. Buffalo's been very typical Buffalo. If you notice, Buffalo for the past 5 years, for that matter, 4 or 5 years under McDermott, they're a team that starts the season hot. They beat the teams they're supposed to beat, and there's always this lull in the middle of the season, whether it's due to injuries, which they always have a ton of injuries. It's due to the defense falling apart, which the defense has this same lull every single year where they can't stop a nosebleed. They can't stop the pass right now. Teams are running the ball all over them completely. And Tampa has their injuries, but I think Tampa's built to take advantage of what Buffalo is right now. Now, could Buffalo have their backs against the wall? They're back home. We know they're a better team at home than they are on the road. So there's always that factor playing into it. But I'm going to take Tampa right now. Even in Tampa's losses, Tampa has been right there on the brink of cutting some of these teams' throats, so to speak, figuratively. So I'm going to ride with Tampa.
I'm going Buffalo. They need to run the ball with James Cook. And, as things stand right now, they're 2 games behind the Patriots. Who thought we would have been saying this in the offseason? Yeah, I like Buffalo. They got to run the football.
Say love ain't gonna help your parlay. See, this is all we thinking about now. But yeah, it's as injured as Tampa's been lately, especially at the running back position, the wide receivers for that matter, is a good chance Mike Evans won't play again this season unless this team makes some sort of playoff run for that matter, which they are capable of. Um, the down thing about Tampa is, is it possible they're leaning too much on Baker right now? Because my personal opinion about them, Baker's doing all he can. He's gunslinging his team to these wins, these tightly contested losses. But once that running back room gets back healthy, I truly believe down the stretch of the season, they're going to start running everything through the running game till some of those other guys, weapons on the outside, get back. Tampa's dangerous as hell, man. But they do know exactly who they are. They just have some injuries right now. So, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and ride with. Anything else you got
Uh,
to say about this
quick,
game before we close it out?
yeah, quick note. Keon Coleman was bench. Coach's
Hmm.
decision. Miko Hardman was signed earlier in the week in Buffalo. I would assume that he's going to get some playing time today. So
Yeah, that's something else to discuss when you get to a point where you're a healthy scratch. You know, former first round pick. Typically at the wide receiver position, they're going to give you every opportunity they can to see you succeed, especially when your quarterback is Josh Allen. They brought you in to be his number one target, his go-to guy, his get out of jail free card. They've given Keon Coleman every opportunity they can for him to get open. He gets open, he just doesn't get open soon enough. And I think that's something fans need to really factor into it when it comes to these wide receivers in the NFL. It's not about getting open, it's about getting open fast enough. And you look at the film on Coleman, there's a lot of times where he gets open, but by the time he gets open, Josh Allen has already came off of that read and he's on to where he's on to. So yeah, that's something. Doesn't mean he's not gonna. Well, it doesn't mean he's not gonna play today. I think it's screwed up for him, and it says a lot about his future moving forward that they made you a healthy scratch as a first round pick, former first round pick. So that's kind of rough.
one more thing on that. Also, Don Kincaid is going to be out, and he's probably going to be out for a while, which is Josh Allen's essentially number one target on the offense besides James Cook. So I think Buffalo's going to have to lean heavy on the run game today.
Yeah, that's you got Buffalo though, right? He fixed this damn light,
I do.
man.
Yeah, I got Buffalo.
It's like you going in now. All right, well, we're gonna move on from that. I think that is a very interesting game, though, so to speak. So, all right, man. Bengals at Steelers. Pittsburgh consensus is -5.5. Essentially,
Mm,
this is a wide receiver team versus another wide receiver team. You got a senior citizen defense in Pittsburgh going up against some young stud wide receivers. Flacco knows Pittsburgh pretty well. We saw what he did against them on that Thursday night a few weeks ago. And if Cincinnati can't do anything else, they can put up points, man. They can get Chase and Higgins the ball. I got Cincinnati in this game.
yeah, I like the Bengals too to sweep the season series. As we know, they're essentially right then, and and as far as the division goes, uh, Pittsburgh had about a 3-game lead a couple weeks back, and now it's going down. Um, Everything tells me Pittsburgh's going to win, but I'm going to take the Bengals. Offensive weapons. I mean, we saw what the Steelers' offense looked like on Sunday Night Football against the Chargers. Not very good. They typically do play better at home. The Bengals.
We don't really get into the numbers too much on here betting wise, but over under 48.5
I'll
in this
go under.
game. You go under. No more shootouts.
Maybe, but nah, I'm going under.
Yep. All right, man. We got one of those funny duddy AFC South matchups. We got the Houston Texans at the Tennessee Titans. Houston currently laying 5.5 on the road. I think 5.5 on the road is a pretty big number, especially for a divisional opponent. I got Houston in this game. I think Tennessee is at that point in time in the season where things are starting to wind down. Some of the mainstays that have been there the past few years are now completely gone. Vrabel's gone. Rand Carthine's gone. The head coach is gone. Um, Everybody, pretty much all the holdovers, other than Jeffrey Simmons, pretty much all the other holdovers from that past regime are pretty much gone now. Um, so they may be packing it in. Houston's in a situation where, as Jekyll and Hyde and bad some weeks and okay certain weeks they've been, they're still kind of mathematically still involved in the playoff
Mm-hmm.
race for this matter. And the game means more to them than it does mean to the Tennessee Titans. So I got Houston.
Uh, Also, quick note: C.J. Stroud is going to be out. Davis Mills is going to get his
Hmm.
second start of the season. Yeah, I like Houston. Defense has been playing outstanding, right? The offense has been the issue for Houston. But even with all that, they're playing against the Tennessee Titans, and they're not a very good football team. So I would imagine that the Houston defense will get after Cam Ward, and they'll get the win.
Now, for people who want to make a case for Tennessee,
There's
they
no case
can
for
re
Tennessee.
well, listen, they can wreak some havoc up front defensively. We understand how how bad that Houston offensive line has been. They can't really get the running game going as well. So if you start factoring in lack of rushing attack, bad, poor offensive line play, then you insert Davis Mills, a big statue quarterback that can't move at all. Now, I will say this: Davis has been with that organization now for what, 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, he started out the starter prior to CJ Stroud being drafted. So it's not like he's new to the offense. It's not like he's new to the team, but he's also missing a bunch of guys as well. I just think that at the end of the day, Tennessee could be the better team right now, talent wise, but they're just going through so much they're going through right now, and I believe the game means more to Houston. So I'm gonna go ahead and ride with Houston in
Yeah.
that
Same.
game. And Robert says I'm not
And
even
my
watching Houston, Tennessee. They just need to restart both franchises from scratch.
well, I
Um,
mean, Houston. I don't think you need to restart from scratch. Uh, you
they
know,
possibly could be if they fire their head
well,
coach,
but they got the
which is
quarterback though.
rumored.
Do you really see D'Amico Ryan's getting fired? I
I
don't see
think it
that.
would be I think it would be a mistake if they did. I think that just factoring into if you're looking at Houston from the outside looking in, to me, you have the defense, you got the pieces on defense. You're missing a guy here or there, but for the most part, you got the pieces on defense. You have the quarterback. I believe Stroud is the quarterback. You can't get the offensive line solved for shit.
And that's the issue there. We talked about it essentially all off season,
And all of
basically
his
for
weapons also on the perimeter keep going down.
well, and then also Joe Mixonby now is not doing the offense any favors, right? And he's probably going to be out the rest of the year
No.
with whatever injury he's got going on. But I think Nick Casario, he'll have an off season. He'll fix the issues. I think Houston's going to be okay. Tennessee, on the other hand, though, um, yeah, they got some issues. Who's gonna be the new head coach? A lot of rumors that Lane Kiffin might be interested in the job. I don't know why he would be interested um, for that job. I would imagine that the Giants job, it is available, would be a more attractive job for him. Not too sure if that's the route they want to go, but definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. All right, one of the more interesting matchups of the day, rematch of a week two matchup for that matter. We got Chicago Bears at the Minnesota Vikings. Very interesting young quarterback matchup. Vikings -3 favorites right now for that game. I got Minnesota for a couple reasons, even though once again, there's a lot of things I believe in this game that factors, the Bears possibly winning this game. Because the Bears, regardless of how ragtag it's been this season, the Bears been winning games. The Bears have been winning games in a variety of ways, for that matter. We're looking at an over under 47 and a half. I can see it being less than 47 and a half for that matter, just because I know the type of defense and how Minnesota's defense, for that matter, has played against Caleb Williams his first couple years in the league. But I want to throw a number out there that I found to be very, very strange in regards to Minnesota. Is well, strictly in regards to Justin Jefferson against Chicago. Um, he hasn't went over 100 yards against Chicago since 2022. In his last four matchups against Chicago, you're talking about four catches for 44 yards earlier this season, seven catches for 73 yards, two catches for 27 yards, and four catches for 38 yards. That's his last four games against Chicago. So they play him very well, but it's come down to some of those victories for Minnesota, them making the plays that the Bears don't make. And that happens a lot in these matchups between the Bears and Vikings, at least from a Lions fan watching these teams in this division. So I'm going with Minnesota. I just got a feeling that Minnesota's going to win this game at home.
So two different teams that what we saw from week one on Monday Night Football, right? Chicago loses some games, but then goes on a winning streak. They win some games that we thought they had like really no chance to win. Um, I think Ben Johnson's got this game circled since that loss, week one. I like Chicago. I like the quarterback situation there better right now with the Bears than I do with the Minnesota Vikings. Um, yeah, give me the Bears. And another quick note: Jalen Johnson, I believe, his window opened up 21-day to return, so he'll be back with the team soon. So the defense will improve here probably in the coming weeks.
All right. Uh Panthers at Falcons.
Oh boy,
Falcons -3. Yeah, let me make sure it's -3.5 because that's yeah. So Panthers at Falcons -3.5. Atlanta over under 41.5. That last matchup between these two divisional opponents ended in a 30-0 loss for the Atlanta Falcons at Carolina. Not too much has changed, I think, over the past few weeks, though. Honestly, this is another matchup between two up and down ass NFC South teams. Let's be honest about it. As much as I like Tampa, Tampa's kind of up and down too. Saints are up and down. Panthers, Falcons. I'm going to take Atlanta at home though. Carolina has not been good against the run this season. They were better against the run against the Saints last week, but they still lost a game to the Saints that you would expect a young team that hopefully has turned the corner wouldn't lose, but they lost that. Bijan's been kind of quiet as of late. I think this is a game Bijan goes off. I got Atlanta.
Yeah, give me the Falcons. We've seen the Falcons, be in a lot of close games this season. Uh, but besides that blowout in Carolina, and I picked the Panthers last week to win, and they did not. They lost to the Saints. Yeah, give me the Falcons at home.
We don't have anything else about this game?
Not much. I mean, when you really think about it, the last time these two teams played, uh, the Falcons didn't score any points at all. I don't
Didn't
think.
even cross midfield.
Yeah, I don't
Which
see that
is
happening. I think Bijan gets it going today at home. Give me the Dirty Birds to win today.
quick question also surrounding this game. What do you make of the Michael Penix Jr. comments earlier in the week about not having anyone surrounding the organization that he goes to in regards to football, and he goes to his fiance and his mother, I believe.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Who does he have to go to? Matt Ryan. He's working at CBS. So when you think about the quarterbacks around the franchise, you got Michael Vick. He's coaching a college team. So I mean, who really does he go to? But I mean, at the same time, those are kind of conversations you need to be having with your head coach and your offensive coordinator. Um, Look, one could say Raheem Morris might his job might be in jeopardy, man. You cannot the last two seasons, man, losing close games. I think at some point Arthur Blank is going to get tired of it and just get rid of him and bring someone else in.
Yeah, I think it's kind of an indictment on the Falcons organization. I don't really blame Penix for his answer. He gave an honest answer a kid would give, even he's a grown man. But
He's
by
what,
NFL
26,
standards,
27?
right? But he gave an answer that you would expect a young, honest guy to give, for that matter. Kirk Cousins was brought in to be, saying that the guy. Now you got make the argument that Kirk eventually should have read the writing on the wall and said, you know what, I'm getting paid handsomely for this team to not play at all. So the least thing I can do for the Atlanta Falcons is make sure that their young quarterback is prepared as much as possible moving
You
forward.
know
Because
what? I forget that Kirk's there still, to
and
be
that's a
honest with you.
problem. Yeah, and that's a problem, But listen, this is all the Falcons' problem. They created because you paid a guy $50 million a year to come in to be the starter, then you turned around and you drafted his replacement. So what the hell did you you honestly expect to happen in that situation? They created a toxic situation, if in fact it is a toxic situation right now for them. But all right, enough about Carolina, Atlanta.
So
We
real
got
quick,
Chargers. Oh yeah, go ahead.
real quick. So Marcus Mariota is in. He just rushed for like 25, 30 yards right now. Tie game. They are in Miami territory. Also, real quick, Keon Coleman is inactive today because he missed a team meeting Friday morning. Until then, the Bills plan to play him, but their plans changed when he missed the meeting, and that's from Adam Schefter.
Oh boy. I hopefully there's no maturity things going on. Hopefully he's not pouting because sometimes receivers they can go through this when they fall out of favor with the quarterback or the OC or whoever. But so that's something I believe it bears greetings that we pay attention to moving forward. So all right, so Justin Herbert and the Justin Herbert and the Jacksonville Jaguars, Justin Herbert and the LA Chargers. If I'm not mistaken, this is their first trip back to Jacksonville since
Since
that
that playoff
playoff
loss.
collapse.
So
Yep. The Chargers right now are the consensus -3 favorites. Uh, Chargers weird team, good coach, really good coach. I think this team would be a lot better right now if they did not suffer the significant injuries that they've suffered this season, but still got a big time quarterback, still got playmakers on defense, got guys on offense to get the ball to. Can't run the ball as well as they were before Marion Hampton got hurt. He was really starting to ascend for them. They lost their two best offensive linemen early in the season. Slater, they lost him in preseason earlier, and then of course they lost Joe Alt, one of the best rookies in the NFL last year, early in the season. But can't trust Jacksonville, even though you and I agree this is the type of game against the type of opponent Jacksonville, they will pull out a win. I'm taking
Hmm.
the Chargers, though. This game means a lot to both teams, but if you're the Chargers, you can't lose more ground to Denver at all. And Kansas City is coming regardless of whether they win or lose today. So I got the Chargers.
Give me the Jags. These are the type of games
Why?
that, for some reason, they win, especially when they're at home. Um, I just got a feeling. Give me the Jags. I know the Chargers are the better team. They've been playing well, but give me the Jags.
Okay. Over under minus, no, minus, over under 43 and a half. I could see a
Um,
high scoring game for that matter.
I can see him
Um,
going like 45.
yeah, you got two big time talents at quarterback who like to push the ball all over the field, make big plays. What do you think about Travis Hunter? For the most part, being shut down for this season, and how do you think they've managed him this season?
Well, it didn't work out how they thought it was going to work out. And by that, I mean him playing 50% of snaps on defense, 50% of the offensive snaps. Did he suffer this injury during practice? I know it was a knee injury, or was it during the game? I would be curious if it was on the offensive side or defensive side. I think moving forward, you got to pick. I don't think you can play him fully 50-50 each game.
Yeah, I this was my worst nightmare for Travis, and I've been a big Travis Hunter fan since high school. It's crazy watching these guys and as juniors and sophomores in high school and seniors, then they finally get to the NFL. You think, oh man, that guy gonna be in the NFL in 6 years. Then 6 years later, he's in the NFL. This was my worst case scenario for him was him going to an organization, a bad organization, an organization that was going to view him more so as a gimmick and a ticket grabber than an actual football player. And I agree with what Rex Ryan said a few weeks ago. When you got a talented guy like him, it's impossible to play both sides in the NFL at a high level. You're either gonna be in defensive meetings all week, learning the defense and learning your opponents on weekends, or you're gonna be a half-ass wide receiver and a half-ass corner. This is a kid who's athletically gifted enough and is a hard enough worker. He could potentially be an elite all-pro corner or an elite high-level wide receiver, or you can have a C plus corner and a C plus wide receiver at the end of the day. I think the Jags are going to have to make a decision this offseason. Listen, Travis, even if you want to play both sides of the football, we can't. We're not going to allow you to. We want you to focus on one side of the football, and we expect you to be an all pro wide receiver at one of those two positions.
So I do have some breaking news, and this is via the New York Post. Jets quarterback Chris Boyd was shot and critically wounded in Manhattan earlier this morning, and he is fighting for his life in the hospital. The shooting occurred around 2 a.m. No arrests have been made, and an investigation is underway.
Man, what the hell are these guys out here doing, man? And I get it.
At
I
2
don't
a.m.
know anything else other than what you just
No,
reported, so I don't want to be negligent and give a off the
same.
cuff response to this. But terrible to hear. Terrible to hear. My brother says they're gonna definitely have to decide which side of the ball to play him on. I want him to do both, but his frame won't allow it.
It, it's
Um,
just it's it's just different than college. It really is. I mean, and we all know that, right? I mean, this game is it's just different. The pro game to the college game, right? So I mean, he just needs to pick a side. I know he had a really good game. I believe it was in London. I forget who it was against, but he had over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. So I don't know, man. If I was him, I'd probably play defense. That's where I think he plays the best. But we'll see what they decide to do.
Definitely. All right. So also later on today we got Seahawks at Rams. I think this is gonna be the game of the day.
Yep.
even compared to tonight's game. But there's a lot at stake in that NFC West right now between the Seahawks, the Rams, and the 49ers. Right now, the Rams -3 favorites at home. I am not mistaken. I took the Rams in this game for a couple reasons. I think Seattle's a really good football team. They get after the quarterback on defense. They get some takeaways. They give up a ton of yards. This defense is light years better this year than what it was last year. To stop it, run way better this year than they did last year. They also turn the ball over a lot. And if you want to be a championship level football team, I don't care how much you score on offense because Darnold's getting the ball to Njigba. They're running the ball well right now. It looks like they're favoring Charbonnet for that matter over
It
Kenneth
really
Walker
does
more.
seem. It really does seem that way. We talked about it last week. I
Yep.
know Kenneth Walker's got some injuries that he's had in the past, but to me, it just seems like they just slag Zach Moore.
Yeah, I mean he's got Zach played a ton in college. He played here at Michigan for that matter, as well as at
At
UCLA.
UCLA. Yeah.
So you got a chance to see him out there in California. We got a chance to see our version of Zach here in Michigan. And I've been saying this for a while, man. I really believe running backs need to get the hell out of college earlier than any other position because this is a guy that played 4 or 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. He played with 4 years at Wake Forest. By the time he got to Michigan State, man, that humongous season he had at Michigan State, I think, took 2 years off his life. At least his NFL life for that matter, man. And he hasn't been able to stay healthy since he got to Seattle. Terrific running back, though. He was a guy that Brad Holmes admitted when it came to that pick before Seattle took him, they were battling who they would take between was it him and Brian Branch or him and it was somebody else that they took that year. And they was hoping that they said that if he would have fell to them at that pick in the second round, they would have had a tough decision on not taking him. Ultimately, it worked out for us. We ended up with Jameer Gibbs a year later. So for that matter, everything
You're
worked out.
welcome.
But yeah. Yeah. So I just think Seattle turns the ball over too much, man. And when you're talking about it like the Rams, you don't want to be giving the Rams extra positions. I mean, extra possessions for that matter. And Seattle will give teams extra possessions. So I got the Rams. You got the Rams as well? Of
I like the Rams, but don't be surprised if Seattle wins.
course not.
Besides
Of
the
course not.
turnovers, defense has been playing outstanding. The Commanders went for it on fourth down right now from the 3 yard line, and they did not get any points. So still tie game, 13-13. 6 minutes left.
All right. So moving on, keeping this show directly into the NFC West, we got 49ers at Cardinals. San Francisco -3.5. We're looking at the over under 48.5. Um, we just talked about how crazy the NFC West can get. I don't think it gets crazy at all between Arizona and San Francisco. That has been a hill to climb. The San Francisco 49ers that the Arizona Cardinals have not been able to really accomplish the past few years. Kyler Murray, we don't know if he's ever going to play another game in
With
the
the
Cardinals
Cardinals.
uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you decide to put him essentially on the bench for the rest of the season, let's see what we got in
Well,
Jacoby
it
Brissett.
well the injury that he has is say to take 6 to 8 weeks to recover back. Um, quick injury notes: Marvin Harrison Jr. He's out today. Brock Purdy is in. First game back for Brock Purdy in almost
Mm,
about a month. Kind of seems like he hasn't played all year with that turf toe and shoulder injury, but he is
yeah.
back. Um, but yeah, man, look, Cardinals, Jacoby Brissett. um, Niners are playing at home. Niners, I think, even though they got a lot of injuries, are is a better football team, better coach football team. I like the Niners at home
So what is this?
or in Arizona. So
Is this because I know you typically you're better with these numbers and years than I am. What is this year wise for Kyler Murray now?
this is year 4, if I'm not mistaken.
4?
4 or 5. He hasn't been in the league that long.
It seems like it really seems like it is like year 6 for him, whatever. But if you're
I
them,
could be wrong, but
yeah, I mean, if you're Arizona, we've seen the highs with him. We've seen that team get to 9-1 and then collapse down the stretch and then lose a playoff game on the road at the Rams where he got hurt and he refused to go back in. That's never a good look for a quarterback when you're in the playoffs and you refuse to go back into a game.
He's been in the league 7 years.
7. That's okay. So I knew it,
7.
it had to
That's
be
crazy.
okay. Yeah, okay. And it's like I don't know what to really expect out of Kyler anymore, man, because when you watch him play, he's not the difference maker you expect him to be. You know, they lose too many 20 to 17 games, 26, 23 games, games where they're held under 20 points and he should have been the difference. There's not enough meat and potatoes, nuts and bolts, I think, with him. He's a guy who he'll give you some big time splash plays from time to time, but he doesn't do the common sense things. When it's 3rd and 4 and you're being blitzed from the weak side and you have a quick out, take the quick out, take the easy completion, live for another set of downs. Kyler wants to hold the ball, bounce, bounce, bounce. He never attacks the middle of the field because he can't. And I'm really starting to figure that's what's wrong with him and Bryce Young. Neither one of those guys attacks the middle of the field at all. So
Um,
it's like you're limited with him a lot.
yeah. And they got some injuries too. I mean, but what team doesn't have injuries at this point, right? But you lost James Conner earlier in the year, actually against the 49ers. He broke his ankle or leg. And then Kyler, I don't know, man. They gotta figure something out. Do I see him being there next year? Maybe. What other options do they have available? Are they gonna draft someone? I don't think so. Free agency wise, who's available? I don't even have a list yet.
I just think that it could be an Indianapolis Colts situation where I don't want to see Gannon lose his job simply because his quarterback wasn't better. Remember, we were
Well,
talking about Shane Steichen being fired last year, potentially be over having Anthony Richardson and having those quarterbacks he had prior to that. He
yeah,
got a quarterback now. Look at him.
yeah, but I mean, but Shane didn't go up and slap a player after he fumbled the ball. Like some of these antics that Jonathan Gannon has done. I mean, to me, it's like
He's feeling the pressure, man.
you can't do that, man. Come on.
Well, I mean, Andy Reid can do it.
Andy Reid's got Super Bowl rings.
Come on, get your head out of your ass. We seen
Look,
Travis Kelsey look like he was ready to come to blows with him on multiple occasions. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Me and you both got the 49ers. The 49ers are a tougher team, grittier team, more battle tested team. And Arizona's kind of like counting down the season, I believe, until they got some major issues that they got to solve.
but
All right.
hey,
Yep.
but who knows? Maybe the Cardinals win today.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily bet on that. But all right, man. Baltimore at Cleveland. Red hot
Oh
Baltimore
man,
at ice cold Browns. We're talking about Baltimore being a 7.5 point favorite on the road. This is a team that was 1-5 at one point in time. Now they hotter than fish grease. I got Baltimore. You think the Browns pulled the upset at home?
no, but I do think this might be the game where we see Shador Sanders.
Hmm. Against the Ravens
Keep an eye out for
defense. The
that one.
defense has been better a little bit
Hey,
as
look,
of
you
late.
got to play him. You got to play him at some point, and then if Doug Dylan, I was gonna say Doug Gabriel, Dylan Gabriel, does not perform well in the first half. I mean, what do you have to lose at this point? Stefanski's basically, I think, is gone after this season. I mean, you might as well try anything to save your job. Maybe he gets on a hot streak, but who knows, man? But yeah, give me Baltimore.
As irrelevant as the Browns organization is, I find it very intriguing to see what happens, what all dirty laundry gets aired this offseason after Stefanski's gone. What
Well,
do you think they keep him? Is there any chance they keep him?
no, but I don't think there's a way that you keep him. I
Andrew
don't
Berry as
see
well?
why you would. I think he's gone too. He should have been gone a long time ago, in my opinion. Ever since that Deshaun Watson debacle. Um, yeah, you know how I feel about the Browns. I know how you feel about the Browns. They're just dysfunctional. They can't get anything right.
Yeah, I mean, I also felt that allowing Miles Garrett to just essentially play you as a puppet to get that money. Because at the end of the day, on both sides, I don't give a damn about either side. Because if you're Miles Garrett, nobody cares about you not winning or not, saying not getting enough this or not getting enough that from your offense. You signed up for this. And if you're the Browns,
Yep.
you gave Deshaun Watson the money you gave him because you thought you were a quarterback away and Baker wasn't good enough. You gave Garrett the money you gave Garrett when you should have been more mentally in tune with your organization, your team, to realize that team in Cleveland wasn't going any damn where. This was a team that went damn near 17 games without scoring over 30 points. I don't give a damn how good your defense is. If you can't score any points in football in this day and age, you're not going to win shit. Whether it's college football, it's the NFL. If you can't score, how do you expect to win games? And you
Yeah.
gave a defensive player, you made a defensive player the highest paid player in your organization's history, where you should have
Hmm.
traded them and rebuilt that damn shit that you have over there. Now you're handcuffed.
Well, and this is why they're probably gonna lose their jobs, and someone else is gonna come in, and hopefully that person can fix the issues. But to me, this is not an overnight issue that's gonna get fixed. This is probably multiple seasons
Well, who
of
wants to be there?
drafting
Like,
players.
if you're a GM,
Well,
do you
look,
want to go there?
but, but look, let's be honest. It's one of 32 team NFL jobs. Someone's gonna take it. Someone's
I
gonna
would
want the
take it.
money. Exactly.
You would
I
take
would take it too.
it. You
Even though I would already have an exit plan for like, maybe a year or two.
I can't Fidel, I couldn't envision you at that press conference with the Haslams and you got your Browns hat on and your Browns hoodie.
Mm.
And yeah.
$25 million, you better believe I'll do it.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. But they got some stuff they need to fix there over there in Cleveland. All right, making our way through, man. Chiefs at Broncos. Um, Chiefs minus 4.5. I find that number to be a little bit odd. Chiefs
Mm.
at Broncos, Mile High. We know how Mahomes seems to struggle historically at Mile High. This is a big game for both teams. I think it's a bigger game for Kansas City because if you lose today, you fall to 5-5. I can't remember the last time this team was 500, like sitting right at 500 this late in the season, probably prior to Mahomes getting there. This team
Yep.
has been, this team has been habitual winners ever since. I'm going to take the Chiefs. I think this game matters more to the Chiefs, and every time the Chiefs have been in that type of situation this season, going back to the Lion game, they knew that if they would have lost that game to the Lions, it would have been tough sledding for them uphill. So I got Kansas City winning today.
I got Kansas City to win today too. Um, Sertain's still out for Denver's defense.
Yep.
Bo Nix has not looked too good the last couple of weeks. He's been struggling, and honestly, Denver should have lost that game last week, but the Raiders weren't able to score any offensive points in the second half. So I think the Chiefs win this game.
Why do we talk so badly about the Broncos? Though? Like they are an
Well,
8-win team, right?
they are an 8-win team. You're right, but I don't know. It just seems like it could be one of those teams that first game in the playoffs, like one and done, and you host a playoff game.
I don't know what to really make of them because I don't want to say they're not good because they're 8-2, and this is a team that they got to what 7-2 last year.
Well, defense is good. Also, the other thing is J.K. Dobbins. He got placed on IR, so
Again,
now it's going to be the rookie R.J. Harvey taking over. And I don't know if you saw the game last Thursday. I wouldn't blame you if you didn't. But the injury happened on a hip drop tackle, um, and it was Wilson that delivered the tackle on Dobbins, and that's why he is on IR.
yeah, I get you. It's kind of hard for me to ultimately trust Denver, but
And I
they play
despise
really
both
good
teams.
defense. Yeah, they
Despise
play
both teams.
right. Of course you do, and I mean, Denver plays really good defense. Um, they're the best pass rushing team in football this year. They're inconsistent at the quarterback position. They run the ball well enough, I think, but they're inconsistent at the quarterback position. You can make the argument that they're probably another playmaker or two away offensively. It could be a wide receiver, it could be a tight end, it could be a running back for that matter. But I think ultimately it's going to be the offense what holds Denver back, this season. But so you and I both got Kansas City with. All right,
This
so tonight's game, big time game, Detroit at Philadelphia. Um, Philadelphia minus 2.5 point favorites. While I don't believe whoever wins this game is going to ultimately win the NFC, I do believe whoever wins this game is going to have an ace of spade in their hand moving forward the rest of the season. If you're Detroit, you can't afford to lose to Philly, considering you already lost the game to Minnesota, you're down a game to Green Bay. There's a good chance you have to at least split with the rest of those teams, and you have to sweep Chicago. If you're Detroit, you lose this game to Philadelphia, you got a trip down to LA in a few weeks to play the Rams. That game against the Giants could end up kind of tricky. You don't know what to expect out of them. So this is a game that even Dallas, we don't know what the hell to expect out of Dallas the second half of the season. They added Quentin Williams. They added Keon Clark. That's the NBA player, Keon Clark. But they added Kenny Clark, the defensive tackle. So they added two defensive tackles since the start of the season. So they should be better against the run at least. But Dallas can score. And if you're Detroit, that's one question I do have about Detroit is they're kind of front runners to a certain extent because we're not offensively built to come from behind like that. Detroit's being kind of feast or famine. We're either blowing teams out or we're looking like a team that can't get out of their own way and get to 20 points. You look at the Green Bay loss. Um, you look at all three of the losses, the Kansas City Chiefs loss. You look at the Minnesota Vikings loss. Like all three of those games, we struggled our ass off to get to 20 points. So and we blown out the teams we're supposed to blow out. So you don't get a lot of variety out of Detroit. I think this game here, even though we have the injuries, we do have Terrion Arnold's out, DJ Reed is out, so that's both starting corners who have been out repeatedly the past few weeks. Josh Pascal's out, starting tight end Sam Laporte is out. There's no excuses. Eagles got their issues, we got our issues, but I think this is the type of game that Dan Campbell gets this team up for. Philadelphia's had their issues offensively. They don't run the ball well enough, I think, to really pose a threat for us defensively to keep guys out of the box. They're going to pressure Jalen Hurts, I believe, a lot. The interior of that Philadelphia Eagles offensive line has not been good this season. What is one of the strengths of our defensive line? The interior defensive line, Tyleek Williams, rookie out of Ohio State, hasn't played a lot recently since Aleem McNeil came back. I expect him to play a lot more tonight as well. So I think we shut down the run offensively. We stand a better chance of stopping their run game than they do ours because we're going to stay dedicated to it. I think that's for sure. And a big play here or there to Jameson Williams, a few long drives. Make sure we're better in the red zone because that's two things as well. Philadelphia is great at. They don't turn the ball over offensively, and they're top 5 red zone scoring offensively as well as defensively. And we haven't been that good offensively in the red zone this year or defensively. So to me, it all comes back to the line of scrimmage, who dominates the line of scrimmage. I got Detroit tonight, 19-17 over Philadelphia. It's supposed to be a 33% chance of rain, 55 degrees tonight, a little bit of wind. So I think it's
I
going to
just
turn out to be
checked.
one of those.
I just checked the weather right now. It looks like no rain.
Okay.
So
Because it was 33% chance of rain by kickoff all week. And I guess things
it's going to
changed
be
up.
windy,
Hmm.
but it should clear by kickoff. So um, I will guarantee one thing: AJ Brown will be involved in tonight's game. I can guarantee whatever you want. He's going to have 6 or 7 receptions tonight. Now we saw the Eagles struggle on Monday Night Football to get anything going on offense. Saquon has been struggling essentially all year, besides one game
Hmm.
against the Giants. They got some issues on the offensive side. The Lions have a lot of injuries, but give me Detroit. I like the Lions to win tonight's game. Expect a big game from Jameson Williams.
I also expect Kelvin Shepard, defensive coordinator for Detroit, to call a really good game. The thing is, man, the Eagles have the offensive weapons to take advantage of the injuries we have on defense. You talking about AJ Brown and Devontae Smith against our third, fourth, and fifth corners. So in theory, they should have a good game. But I will say this: if AJ Brown doesn't have a good game and Devontae Smith doesn't have a good game, and the Eagles offense looks the way the Eagles offense has pretty much looked the last couple years, where you get these weird games where they don't even get 100 yards passing, they're held to 13, their head will tell to 10. Wide receivers look at their cornerback matchups on a week-to-week basis. You think AJ Brown or Devontae Smith haven't been in this offensive coordinator's ear all week? Listen, we're
Well,
going against the third, fourth, and fifth string corners of Detroit. We want the football. So
yeah,
if they
that's why I
don't get
think
that man the football, all hell gonna break loose this week.
and look, I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I really do. I can see it high 20s, you know, 30s. But I like the Lions to win tonight's game, and yeah, just Detroit needs to win.
Yeah, I think also if you look at it from Detroit's perspective, field goal kicking and red zone management. To me, points are going to be at a premium in this game. When you get into the red zone, you have to have the gauge, the proper gauge, if you Dan Campbell, on when to go for it on fourth down and when to just take the damn points. At the end of the day, no empty red zone possessions. No turnover on downs for going for it on 4th and 3 from the Philadelphia 17 when we should have just took the field goal. Have the right gauge on when to go for it and not to go for it, because to me, just to me, points are going to be at a premium tonight. Field goals, making sure you get the points that you're supposed to get when you get them. That's the whole thing. Because, like I said, our red zone offense has been inconsistent all year.
Agreed.
All right, moving on to the last game, man. Monday night. Look at you boys, man. The Raiders on effing Monday night. So we got the
Sorry.
the Las we got the Raiders hosting the Dallas Cowboys, man. I had some thoughts about this game because I wanted to pick the Raiders for a second. But then I thought to myself, Geno Smith, Dallas Cowboys need this game to, keep their playoff hopes alive. Dak Prescott destroys bad defenses. They've been scoring points at nauseum this season. I got Dallas, man. I got Dallas.
All right. So real quick,
Okay.
Miami went for it on fourth down. It was fourth and maybe two. They didn't do it. They didn't make it. This is like the second or third time they've been in the red zone. No points. So the game is
And
still tied
yeah,
at 13-13. And we got what? About a minute and some change left, I believe. So that is the update for
yeah,
Madrid.
and right on cue with that, bro. Like that's what I think my Lions have to avoid. If it's
The,
we have to avoid those. Damn, if
the
it was a 13-13 game midway through the third quarter, but if we would have took those two field goals in the second quarter, we would have had the game locked up. But we ended up losing 16-13 because we had too many empty possessions. We can't have any of that shit tonight. That's my key thing for Detroit.
Yeah, I think sometimes these teams. I mean, I know both these teams. I mean, they really don't have anything to lose at this point. But
Right.
you have a kicker. Kick the damn field goal. You're right there. You need points in the red zone. And if you're trying to
Absolutely.
win games, that's how you do it. But yeah, look, what was the line on the game tomorrow?
Minus 3.5 Dallas, over under 49.5.
Well, Geno Smith, his struggle this year. That's no secret. The Cowboys defense has also struggled this season. So one of them's got to give.
No secret.
One of them's got to give. As much as I don't want to do it, I'm going to give me the Raiders. I can't fucking pick the Cowboys, man. I can't do it.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with these people, and I'm gonna take Dallas.
Now go ahead.
That's I can't tell these people anything else, man. Is Brock back?
Yes, he is.
See, there you go,
Even though he only
my boy
had
Rob.
what
Keep up with it. Brock
one
is back.
reception, one reception I think last week or two. Not enough. He needs 15 catches, and maybe they'll get the running game going tomorrow night.
It'd be nice to see them get the running game going, man. It's speaking of that. So how much of it is Genty? Because I'm gonna bring this up because this is the elephant in the room, man. Maurice Jones-Drew had a controversial take before the draft that Travion Henderson was right there next to, if not better than Ashton Genty. He was a three down back. He blocked really well. He returned kicks. He was a better receiver out of the backfield. Not saying that Travion Henderson would be better as a Raider right now because that Raider offensive line has not been good. But I did make the comment before the draft that the Raiders could have honestly went with a defensive player at that spot. A Will Johnson, who's been great for the Arizona Cardinals, or someone else, more front seven help for Max Crosby, and then they could have actually went and taken a Travion Henderson or Marion Hampton in the second round, early
Well,
second round or whatever. What's going on with the Raiders? Is it just the offensive line? Is it the quarterback's lack of success he's had?
it's
Because I don't
everything.
really blame the defense
It's
too
play
much.
calling. Chip Kelly, I blame him. Injuries. I mean, let me ask you, who's in a better situation, him or Ashton?
Oh, Travion, of
All
course,
right.
Travion Henderson.
We we got our left tackle, he's out. We got the right guard, he's out now. I mean, essentially, it's been a shuffling game on this offensive line the whole year, besides week one. Look, it's just one. We're not even through the full season yet. I think it's still on pace to rush over 1,000 yards. So I mean, and then the whole stance thing in the beginning of the year, he wasn't comfortable, doing the traditional stance, out of the backfield, and just Chip Kelly, man, use the fucking player, please use them.
I don't get
Throw to
that
Brock.
because Jameer Gibbs does it, and Detroit let him do it. Whatever makes you comfortable as a running back, let him do it. Like I
Yeah,
don't
I know, but he's probably, you know how Chip is. I mean, we don't know him personally, but just going
control
based off,
freak. We've heard former Eagle players and their thoughts on him. He's like
yep,
the Tom Thibodeau of the NFL.
that's Deshaun Jackson.
Oh, ask LaShawn McCoy,
Yeah,
ask
him too.
Michael Vick, ask a
Mhm.
lot of people. Yeah. So of course, I think Trayvon's in a better situation. But that goes back to my thoughts on drafting a running back high. If you're going to draft a running back high, I think he should be considered a luxury pick for a team that's already got a lot built around him. I wouldn't necessarily take a Bijan Robinson at 7 if I don't have an offensive line and I don't have wide receivers to protect him and I don't have a quarterback and my defense is bad too. I think putting even if a guy is considered a generational talent, putting an elite running back on a shitty team just has a tendency to not work out. Like even when you look at Adrian Peterson going to the Minnesota Vikings, they had a very good offensive line before they got him. You look at the Atlanta Falcons, they had a top 5 rushing attack the year before they got Bijan Robinson. Detroit drafted Jameer Gibbs and already had an elite offensive line. I just think that when you take a running back that high in the top 10 and you have nothing to protect them, no quarterback, no offensive line, no wide receivers, all you have is a tight end to protect them, is going to make him look bad. It's going to make him look like a bad pick. I don't think he was a bad pick at all. I think that when you draft a running back into a situation where he has no insulation, he has no protection, it makes him look like a bad pick. Now, if they get things together this offseason, he may look like the guy that was at Boise State. But as of right now, no, I don't think he's a bust. I don't think he was a bad pick at all. I just think that they've done a bad job of making him look good. They expected him to come in and make them look good. And that's not the way it always works with these running backs out here, man. But all right, before we get out of here, man, anything else you want to say?
It looks like we're going to overtime. Commanders just missed a field goal. We're still tied at 13
Oh,
all. We got 10 seconds left.
across the water, extra football. I know
And
them
it's
players
Spain.
mad about that. I know they pissed about that, man. We already don't want to be over anyway. I don't want to play no extra football.
Yep. So it looks like we got some overtime coming from Madrid, Spain.
Definitely, definitely. Hey, Brent checked in with us one more time, man. Let's get this out here before we get out here. Brent DeWitt. Yeah, you're right, Rob. You're right. Brent DeWitt, longtime Lions Avenue follower, says, "Is Chip Kelly's offense really a college style like I've been hearing?" You would know better than I would, though. He never coached any of my teams.
I don't know. I don't know. Is it? It ain't working if it is.
Whatever it is, it ain't working.
Whatever it is, that shit ain't working, man. We need to change that shit up.
For sure. All right, man. I want to thank everybody for joining us this Sunday morning. The same people join us every Sunday morning. We love going through this slate of games for you guys. I know a lot of you do gamble on these games. Remember, if you gamble, gamble responsibly and don't throw any poker parties.